Hi everyone, this is Gail. I just wanted to come back and talk to you a little bit about my Christmas tiles. I've been away from them for a while, and it's, Christmas is coming up fast. Let me put this down here so I can not have so much glare while I'm not working with my clay. I just wanted to show you some of the things that I've acquired. First off, I don't remember if I showed you these stamps or not, but these are stamps made by, it's May Made It, and she is the one that has introduced me, not introduced, but she has made so many wonderful paper projects and other things too, but she specializes in paper, and she does sell some supplies. And this is her set. And I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's, they followed a star, but I'm not sure. But that's what some of what the things are. But it's got these stars, and it says, all is calm, all is bright. Oh, holy night, the star was brightly shining. Star of wonder, star of light. Star with royal beauty bright. It's got Merry Christmas. You can see that's kind of red because I used it with red ink. And they followed a star. There's a little small star. And then when they saw the star, they rejoiced with great joy. And I am going to use this, excuse me, on some of my cards. But I may also use some of these in my tiles, like especially these small ones. So I just thought I would show you those. And this one I think I did show you before. It's a designer stamps. There's some clear stamps, but it's got Happy Holidays. It's got an ornament, a wreath, some holly, a button. So I might use this on some of my tiles also. But let me show you my treasures. Let me show you this first. I went to AC Moore the other day, and they'd put out their Christmas things. And I showed you in a previous video that I liked putting charms and buttons on polymer clay. And look at these cute buttons that I found. Let's see if I can get them to where you can see what they are. Maybe with the, no, they do better with the background. But they all look like gingerbread. Can you see that? And they're sparkly. I haven't taken them out of the thing yet, but it looks like they're gingerbreads sprinkled with sugar. They're really cute. And there's a gingerbread man, a star, a tree, and a snowman. And I'm thinking, oh, how cute to put those in some polymer clay. So I'm thinking I might embed these in some silver clay. I think silver would look good with these. And then in that same line, it's Nicole. Nicole is the line. That's where these are. These are made by Nicole, and they're just called Tree Treasures. And this one, again, I haven't taken them out of the bag, but this is a glittery Merry Christmas. And I've got a stamp that says Merry Christmas, and I don't mind using that. But wouldn't it be pretty to have this sort of sitting up on a tile? But can you see those? There's a red and a green Merry Christmas, and they're sparkly. So I thought those would be fantastic. So these are two things I'm going to put into my clay and cut tiles. And then anybody that knows me knows that I am a sucker for nativities, because that's what Christmas is all about anyway, right? And I found these dress it up buttons. And this one is called Nativity, and it is Mary and Joseph and the baby, and a donkey, a sheep, and I don't know, I guess maybe it's an angel. I couldn't see. And then a little angel that's kneeling. But that is cute. So I bought these to embed in clay for buttons. And of course they also had the Good Shepherd, which is part of their holiday. And they've got the shepherd and another sheep and a big star and an angel, another sheep, and then another, like a little shepherd holding a little baby sheep. So I thought those were so cute. So guess what? You know, they also had the 3 wise men. It's called We Three Kings. And it's got these 3 kings, the green one, the purple one, and the red one. And then it has 3 camels that also have colored blankets on them. So these are going to all be embedded in my clay. I just have to decide what color I want to use in order to embed them. And I also have this stamp, or it's not a stamp, it's a mold. It's from Penny Jo Crouch. And I don't know if you know Penny Jo, but she's a great polymer clay artist, but she also makes these awesome molds. They're, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Silicone. They're silicone molds. And you can actually, you know, let's see, I don't know if hers can be baked in the oven or not. I looked for the instruction sheet that came with this one, and I couldn't find it. But I did find the one that I have for my turtle. I have a turtle mold, and she's really good with her instructions that she tells you exactly how much clay to put in for each animal and whatever. But let me just see. Let's see. I don't know that this can go in the oven. I'm thinking maybe it doesn't, even though it's acrylic. I'll check that, and I will make a note in the comments below. But I'm thinking that I remembered her saying that she didn't like to put hers in the oven. I might be totally wrong. But anyway, the little instruction sheet that comes with it that I've misplaced because I'm cleaning up. You know how it is when you clean up. But this has 2 jingle bells. It's got 2 different types of stockings. It's got a Christmas tree. It's got a Santa Claus, which is really detailed. A pretty gift box, a little gingerbread man, a Christmas light, a small tree, a bow, and a little teddy bear. So I just thought I would show you what I do, and I thought I would mold a couple of these things. Now, what I ended up doing, trying to think of, it is Christmas, and you know me, I like bling. I got out some of the glitter colors, the Sculpey glitter colors. This is the rose gold glitter, and I got the yellow gold glitter, and this is actually green, sea green mixed with the white gold glitter. And then I have the white gold glitter. And I started with the rose gold glitter, thinking that would be nice for the little teddy bear. And it was so dry. And I'm going, oh man, this is just terrible. And I was going to have to tell you that, the gold glitter was really soft. And sure enough, when I went to the green, let's see, which one was it? What is this one? This is the white gold glitter here. And these were so dry. And they were just crumbly. Every time I tried to put it through the pasta machine, they crumbled. And I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do? So I ended up, even when I bend it now, when it's conditioned, see how it cracks? But what I ended up doing was adding some liquid clay to it, and to both of them, and they finally started to condition. And I really think they're okay. I think it's the glitter that's in them. But as soon as I thought that, I started conditioning the, what is this called? Frost white glitter. And it was just as soft as it could be, and it conditioned perfectly. But this is so beautiful. It's white, and I know you can't see it. I can't even tilt it so you can see it. But it's got a really fine iridescent glitter in it, and it's beautiful. And then I also did the yellow gold glitter. And this one conditioned great. So it's not just the glitter colors. I guess it's individual. Some of them might just work better than others, and maybe those 2 were older than this one. I don't know, but these did okay. But I thought I would just play, and if I was going to play, I thought I would play while y'all are watching and just do a little bit with these molds. Let me get my, where did it go? I moved it. I have this nifty little thing. It's actually a Wilton product. It's got a little bag here, and I've got the little bag filled with cornstarch, and I usually just take that and dust my molds with the cornstarch so that the things come out easily. Then it fits back in there, and you just tighten the cap back. Let me get it to click. Just tighten it back, and then you've got it here, and you don't get cornstarch all over everything. And what you do to fill it is you turn this little purple thing on the top, and that opens it up to the inside, and you can pour whatever you want in it. I think Wilton probably uses powdered sugar. Of course, I used cornstarch as a release on my my polymer clay. So it's probably a little bit more cornstarch than I need. Let me just dust it off a little bit. But I thought I would just start with maybe doing a jingle bell. And I just made a little ball of the gold glitter clay. And I covered up everything with this piece of paper. And I'll just slice it off even with the top. Now, one thing, you don't want to take the cornstarch and mix it into your clay. So you only want the piece that's going in there to really have the clay on it. But look at that. Oops. Can you see that little jingle bell? Isn't that cute? Almost looks like a smiley face, doesn't it? But it's a jingle bell. So I will put that on my thing to bake. And there's another jingle bell, and I don't know what the difference is. And if I could find my little sheet, which is, I remember seeing it, and I remember tucking it somewhere because I said I'm going to need this, but I can't find where I tucked it. But anyway, it's around here somewhere. But I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow gold, and I'll probably do the same thing with the silvery color. But what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to bake them. Let me see what this... And with the cornstarch, they pop right out. I think this is just a different angle on the little bell. You can see the X like you see on a jingle bell. But I'm going to bake these, and then I'm going to gently embed them into some clay. So I thought I would also do one in silver, because jingle bells aren't just gold. Some of them are silver. Matter of fact, most of them are a silver color. So let me just pinch some clay together. And I think there's enough cornstarch left to do this again. You don't have to do it between each mold. You'll know when it starts to stick that it's time to add more cornstarch. There, so now I've got a gold and a silver bell. That's even something where you could use two. You could put two on one, what am I trying to say? Two on one tile. So let me do this other one. What I'm thinking, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, let me see when after I put this out. I'm wondering if you put these two together and just make a regular bell. That's possible. But And I don't think so, 'cause no, the X's are in different places. I thought maybe it was just like a 3D bell if you wanted it. Anyway, so that's the little jingle bell. Now there's also a regular bell. And what color should I do that? Let's do that in the silver. And I'll still do, you know, make a little ball. And you might want to make sure you don't have any seams showing in the little ball. And then since this has some deeper dimension, I'm going to make this into a little bit of a teardrop shape and stick the pointy part down in the area that's indented the most, just to make sure that clay gets down to the bottom of the mold. And let me see, I haven't used this mold yet, so this is all going to be new for me. So we'll discover it together. And there's my little silver bell. Isn't that cute? I could take a little red bead or something and put in there to make the little gonger or whatever. I think I'll make a gold one also because I like that. That's a pretty bell, and I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch in there because I'll tell you what, I think I'll just put it on the clay before I put it in there. So let me just make this little ball, turn it into a little teardrop, and then I'm going to roll the outside of it in this cornstarch before I stick it in there. A little bit of cornstarch in your clay isn't going to hurt it, but you don't want to put a lot of cornstarch with it or it's just going to dry it out. And if you bend this, it probably would come out a lot easier too. Now this, you can see, has quite a bit of cornstarch on it, but that will brush off. After it's baked, you can just take a brush and that will brush off. But there's 2 bells and 4 jingle bells. And let's see, I'm going to try this rose gold in the gingerbread man and just see how that looks. Now there are places for the eyes and the nose, no, just eyes and the mouth and buttons. But I don't know that I'm going to try. Those would be awfully little itty bitty pieces that would have to go in there. And I don't think I want to be on camera while I'm practicing that, so I'll do that later. But since the gingerbread man is a little bit longer, instead of making a ball, I'm just going to make a little bit of an oblong shape and start at the head and just place it on there and press. Now when you do this and you're going to cut off the excess clay, be sure you have a sharp blade. Doesn't have to be real sharp because you don't want to cut your mold, but a seesaw motion works the best in cutting your clay when you're using a mold. And then you can always go back like this. There was one little place that didn't shave off well. You can always go back as long as you haven't pulled it out. And then let's just see what the little gingerbread man looks like. Whoops. Oh, isn't he cute? And see, he's got a ridge, and what I can do with this is maybe use some Inca Gold after it's baked to highlight those little raised places. It would maybe use a light color so it would look like icing. I love that. I'm going to do another one. I love that little gingerbread man. And I'm going to use the piece that I shaved off because, of course, I used way too much clay. Try not to use too much clay, just because you can't help but get some cornstarch on it when you're using it. And the less that you have to shave it off, the better. And let me show you, where did I do with the turtle? Here it is. I'll put it back up here. on the turtle, and it's the same thing on this Christmas one. Like I say, if I could find it. But you see here, she's put little circles, and they're color coded, and there are sizes. And what she's done on the sheet here, like she says on the big turtle shell, it says T1. So if you look on here, so where is it? T1, you would need a ball 1 1/16 inch in diameter to fill that without having a lot of excess clay. Or actually, that's the turtle. That's not the shell. That's the whole turtle. C1 is the turtle shell, and that you would need a 5/16 inch ball. And these circles show you there's a 9/16, 13/16, 15/16, 1 1/16, 3/8 and a half. So she has all this information there for you. And like I say, I've got one just like it for the Christmas mold, but I can't put my hands on it right now. But this is, I'm sorry it's not a cane tutorial right now, just because I've really had these tiles on my mind recently, and I was sitting in church this morning, and I thought, you know, I really need to get working on my Christmas tiles, because I did want to make a project using my tiles, and I don't have anywhere near enough. All I've got are those red ones, but there's that again without so much cornstarch on it. I just think that is so cute. Penny Joe did great on this. All right, let's see what else we've got. We've got a stocking. How about a bow? Or let me do something. How about the package? Although I'd really like to have the package have a different color ribbon. I'll tell you what, there's a little tree here. Let me try the little tree. There's a little bitty tree right there. And the good thing about this is if I mold it all in green, and then after it bakes, I can always tint it, or I can paint it with acrylic paint, or I can tint it with pan pastels or Inca Gold. This is way too much clay. Sorry about that. I lost my battery. My camera came unplugged and I didn't see it. I don't know where the last recording left off, so I'm just going to start where I am. Hopefully you saw the gingerbread men. I will go and look at it after, you know, I finish. But anyway, right now I'm going to do a little green Christmas tree. And what I was saying is that I can do the tree in the green, and then later after it comes out of the oven I can do a trunk maybe with pan pastels or Inca Gold or even acrylic paint to paint it brown, and then I can add, I think it's going to have little ornament type things on it. So let's just see. Let's get that pressed in there. And just make sure you press it in really good. So you, this is another little deep mold. And then let's trim it off. The green kind of blends in with the blue. Now I looked up to see where I was on my video, and the screen was black, and I went, uh-oh. Oh, this is pretty. See that? It's a little detailed little tree. But I could put stickles on it to make it shiny. I'll make a couple of those too. There's a lot you can do with these little molds, but I just wanted to show them to you. And like I say, I believe I got these at Play, I believe it is. I think that's where I get my Inca Gold, because everywhere I've tried to buy the Inca Gold, they only come in these big jars, and you really don't use that much. I mean, those jars will last me for years. And let me show you what I get at Polymer Clay Play. Poly Clay Play. Look at this. This is a little sample thing that she has, and this comes in a set of 5, and it was $10 or $11, and she's always got things on sale. And I would much rather have little tiny jars of this than this is what I was buying on Amazon. And look at this. This jar will last me, because you only use a tiny bit. This will last me forever. And then she also sells them in, it's called trial size. This is a trial size tower, and she also sells the trial size. And this was hydrangea, so I just had to have that. But she's really good. She's got excellent customer service. She'll give you rewards sometimes. I don't know, she's just a nice person. And I got an email from her the other day telling me that she had featured my video on the alcohol inks and stencils, which I'm thrilled. I haven't seen it yet, but she's going to feature that video of mine on her website, so I'm real anxious to see that. And there's another pretty little tree. I figured if I do 2 of each, I'll be fine. Now, here's where I really want to get confusing, I guess. I'm going to try to piece something together, and we will see how it works. I'm going to do the little light bulb, and I'm going to try to put silver glitter just down in the end where the light bulb is, and try to keep it away from where the color would be. I have a bunch of these little tools that I got. Somebody was destashing, and I use these tools. There's some awesome ones. I think there was 5 of them. I've got a couple over at my my paper desk, but there's some really useful ones. This little spoon right here is really good at smoothing seams. You know, and there's a little pointy thing on the end if you need a little pointy thing. And this one has this little tip like that, and it's like a little spoon. And that's what I was using here to kind of just push this clay away from where the color would be. And what color should I make? I've got green already conditioned. Let me do a little green bulb, and then if it works, I'll do another one, maybe in red or something. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to make another little ball of the green glitter. And I hope that's enough, and I'm going to stick that in there. It only has to come to the top of the mold. And this one worked better. That ended up being a perfect amount of clay for that. There's very little to shave off. I've got the silver, but look at the green. There's hardly anything left to shave off of the green. So I didn't do too bad. Put it back where it belongs. And hopefully this will turn out the way I want it to. Oh, that's not bad. See how it's just the little silver? There's a little bit of green on there, but nobody will see that. But a little bit of, just a little teeny tiny Christmas ornament. But all of these are things I'm going to put on small tiles so that I'll have some filler tiles. Because you're gonna, when you start putting your tiles on a project, you need to have a bunch of tiles, because you don't know what you're going to be using and what's going to be helpful. And there I am trying to think and talk all at the same time. I just can't do it. Actually, I'm going to pull some of this off. See how handy these little tools could be? And you can find them. I don't even know what they are. There's not a brand on them anywhere. They're just some kind of little metal tool. I saw them somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to try, where's my, remember the red that I used in my first background color? I've saved some pieces. This is all out of a bunch of that red clay. This is all I've got left, and I did save some in case I needed something like this, because you do need red once in a while. And let me do this. And you just press. Actually, I may not have anything to shave off of this one. It just seemed to work out. Not a thing. How about that? I'll never do that again. But I do want to push that away a little bit because I didn't want it to be too, I don't want the silver part to be too fat. And then loosen it up. And there's a red one. Oh, this is so much fun. I could do this all day, but I don't have all day. I'm going to a musical at church tonight. If you ever heard of the Annie Moses Band, they're going to be at my church this evening, and my sister and I are going to hear them, and I'm just so excited. So let me go back to this color. This is the rose gold glitter. And see, I'm going to just make the little teddy bear. That's what I wanted to use this for. And I've got some cornstarch on this clay because it's not wanting to stick together, but it will eventually all blend and it'll be fine. And this is probably also too much clay. Doesn't take much. It takes a while for you to get the feel for how much clay you need. But I'm going to go ahead and make a little L shape since he's sitting. Can you see? See that little teddy bear? I probably should have zoomed in long before now. See, this is just way too much clay. I'm going to press that in. You can see the glitter in the clay better this way too, can't you? And just shave it off. And see, when you shave, how you see the little outline of the little teddy bear. This is his head and those are his feet. Now let's just see what this looks like. There you go. Can you see him up against my hand? Isn't that cute? Again, this will be really nice because he's got so much texture to him. I think it would be nice to accent him with some mica powders or something. Since I had all this clay, let me go ahead and do that again. I just think he is so cute. But I can, like I said, accent with either the Inca Gold or the pan pastels or mica powders. There are so many things you can highlight with. And you can see there's still some cornstarch in there. So I'm going to just press this in again. And just press, press, press. Make sure you press really, really hard so it gets all the way down. And then just slice. Now I didn't get even with the mold that time, so I didn't get all of it. So let me, which is probably a good thing to show you. Just turn it to a different position and go that way. And see, you'll eventually get it real nice and clean. There. Then you loosen him up. And he pops right out into your hand. But can you, I'm trying to get it to focus. It probably won't. It's a little too close. But can you see the little, he's got like little hairs all over him. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that will be gorgeous when it's highlighted. And this is the stocking that I want to do, but see, it's got a band at the top. So I'm not sure exactly. I'll tell you what, let me try, make sure I didn't have a bunch of color on my fingers. I'm going to try a little bit of this white glitter and do like I did with the light bulb. Let me go out just a little bit so my camera won't go nuts trying to focus. I'm going to try to get only enough clay to fill that little cavity. And I'm going to stick it down in there. And then use my little trusty tool. I'm going to chip away some. And push the rest back. What's a good color for a stocking? Red? Let me put some red in there. I haven't done much red. I just did that one little Christmas light. See, one reason I don't like working with red is it gets all over your fingers, so I'm going to have to clean my fingers before I can use the white again. Now there's a big Christmas tree here, but that's so big, and it's got little ornaments on there, so that's something I would probably want to work on off camera until I get that down pat. Press. And hopefully the red didn't overtake the white. Red is like an entirely different animal than other colors. It just, if you make like a red and white striped cane, after a while the red will bleed into the white unless you put something in between it, like a little black line or something, a very thin line of black, or translucent maybe if you don't want a black line. So let's see what this little stocking looks like. Oh, look at that. You can even see the knitting marks on there. It doesn't paint, but the white bled through, so I might have to do that again. I think I didn't go up high enough because I hadn't seen this before. I'll still bake that. And I could put some glitter or something over it. So let me try that again with a smaller, now that I know it's a teeny tiny little knitted top rather than a big one. I was thinking it was taller than that, but let me stick this in. And my clay's got a little bit of a red tinge because I didn't clean my hands. But this goes way up. And then I'll put more red in there. I kind of like the red because I'd like to have one that I did correctly. But this is just a play day. This isn't something that I'm going to do any finished projects. I'm just playing today. It's still not enough red. Of course, now I'll probably have too much, but better too much than not enough. So let me stick this in here and press. Now this white I'll just get rid of because it's got the pink on it from my fingers, so I won't want to use it again. At least not here. It'll go in my scrap. It won't get thrown away. And you can see I didn't get all the red, so just go to a different position. Loosen it up, and let's see what this one looks like. This one isn't coming out quite as easy because I didn't put much cornstarch in it, but it should because it's all unstuck. There we go. There, that worked better. Can you see that one? But isn't that cute? It looks like it's stitched, like it's knitted. And there's another stocking over here. They go in opposite directions so you can use it, but it looks like the same stocking. But let's try. Let me get a baby wipe. And wipe the red off my fingers. And I'll make it a different color. I'll make maybe, well, red and green are kind of your Christmas colors, so I think I'll make one in green just to see. And let me look at this. I do believe it's got another little skinny top. So I'll press down, and then I'll pull some away because that's too much clay. And I believe I can feel a little dip there, which should be the end of the knitting. And let me put some green in there. You know, red anything is hard to work with, you know. Anything you do with red. You remember before we started washing in cold water, if you bought anything red, you had to wash it separate or else it would bleed all over everything. And there are some reds that still do, but I very seldom buy red, but I still wash them separate. And again, I've got way too much color. Clay, I mean. And let's see what this one looks like. I hope you're enjoying these, and even if you don't want to make a big project, it's fun to have little things. Oh yeah, that turned out pretty good. It's fun to have little things like this you can decorate. I'm planning on incorporating some clay with my cards. I have found that if I go down to a number 7, if I use either Kato or Primo, and I go down to a number 7 thickness and then bake it, it will go through my die cut machine. So I can do that if I want things to put onto my card. Let's see if there's anything else here. There is a bow. I'm hesitating on that package again because I don't know where it's probably got ribbon that goes around the package, and I don't know how to do that yet. So what color should we make our bow? Is there something I haven't used a lot of? I've used the yellow, the silver, the green. Let me just do something in white, in the white glitter. I've used the white glitter as an accent, but I haven't used it as an ornament by itself. But I think I'm going to do this little bow right here in the white glitter. And what I did, if you're wondering where I'm pulling my clay from, I took some clay and just conditioned a little piece, a little sheet. I think this is rolled out. Some of them are number 1, some of them are number 3. And just so I have a sheet there that's conditioned and I can just pull off of the sheet without ruining the whole thing of clay. But let me see what I'm going to do with this. You're going to laugh at me because I would start with a little point to go down into the 2 bows. So how about a little, what is that, a peanut, a cashew shaped? So that the points go down in there and then just push. But if you like this mold or any of Penny Joe's molds, I love her molds. I mean, they're just so much fun, and you can do so much with them. Let me make sure that's pushed down. I'll put a link in the description box below. And evidently a lot of you people aren't reading the description, because I will put a link down there and then I'll get a comment, where did you get such and such? And yet the link is right there in my description. And while I've got you, and it is Sunday, I want to thank those of you that have contributed to my Patreon page. You guys are just so special. So far 10 people have signed up on my Patreon page to help support me so I can continue making these videos. And you just have no idea how much that's appreciated. I mean, I cried the first day. I had, like 6 people the first day. And I just sat there and cried because you guys are so fantastic and so supportive. Now there's the bow. Isn't that pretty? It does. It looks like a piece of ribbon. And with the sparkle, it's going to be great. So I'll make 2 of those. But I just wanted to let you know, that I do appreciate you so much. And those of you that contributed $10, I'll be sending, nothing will be done. It's my understanding, like I say, I'm new to this, but it's my understanding that they charge you and they pay me, of course, on the 1st of the month. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I understand. So, and when everybody gets charged and everybody's everything's done, those of you that have contributed $5, I'm going to send a piece of my feather cane. And it might be a reduced piece that's pretty, fairly small. But you'll have a piece that you can use in something that you want. And then I'm trying to think of something really cool to do for my video that I promise those of you that contribute $10. The ones that contribute $10 are going to get a tutorial that's only going to be available to my patrons on Patreon. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, I think that's, but anyway, I'm thinking of some, those of you that know who you are, the ones that have contributed, and if there's something that you would like to see in particular, go on to patreon.com and send me a comment letting me know what kind of tutorial you might be interested in. Otherwise, you're going to be a victim of my choice. But I'd like to think of something special. I'm sorry. My dog just peed right next to me. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. But anyway, let me know what type of tutorial you would like to see, and I will see what I can do. But everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Sorry guys, I just wanted to come back and explain. I apologize for me getting so upset about my dog. And it's not that I was upset. It's just I wasn't paying attention to him, and I'm here by myself today. Well, I have 3 greyhounds, and they're all retired racers, and they're all getting older. And this poor boy, he's the youngest of the 3 greyhounds, but he is the most beat up of them all. He's got severe arthritis in one of his back legs because when he was racing, he tore his meniscus in his back knee, and the trainer did not have it repaired because evidently, since he wasn't going to be racing, they figured it wasn't worth spending the money on. So he has severe arthritis in his leg that's very painful, so he has to be on pain medicine for that. He also has an autoimmune disease that we don't know if it's tick-borne or what, but he has an autoimmune disease where he loses his toenails. So he's on medication for that. And somewhere along the line, and I feel like it has to be medication involved because he's the youngest of the 3 dogs, but he's become incontinent. And when I say that, he can usually go during the day and he's fine. He can't go all night. I have him in diapers at night, which is really fun with a greyhound if you know how big they are. But he has what the vet has, as a process of elimination, the vet has termed it water diabetes. It's called diabetes insipidus. And it's similar, you know, like with sugar diabetes, you can't process sugar. And with him, his body cannot process water. So he constantly is drinking and peeing and drinking and peeing. As soon as he drinks a lot of water, within an hour, he has to go outside or else this happens, like what he did today. And my craft room is all the way away from everything else. And if I were in the living room, he would have come up next to me and just looked at me with those sad eyes and done his little dance, which kind of tells me he needs to go outside. But with me in here, he didn't know how to tell me. And he just walked in here and looked at me with that sad look and started peeing on the rug in my craft room. So it kind of took me by surprise, but I just wanted to explain, I'm not upset with him. It's something that he cannot control, and he has, you know, he just has no control over that. And I didn't want you to think I was upset. It was more, I was flustered because he had never done that before. But I just wanted to come back and give you a heads up. I love my dogs dearly. They're, you know, if you haven't got a dog, or even if you do have a dog, those of you that have rescued dogs, they know they've been rescued. They know that you're giving them a home, and they are so grateful. And greyhounds are the most awesome dogs in the world. I brought these 3 with me from Florida when I came back to Virginia, and they're all seniors now. Fort Dix, who's the one that just christened my craft room, he is 10, and then we have 2 that are 12. One just turned 12, and the other one will be 13 in October. So they're seniors now, and you know, Fort Dix he's the cutest dog, but he's very shy, and he doesn't like peeing in his diaper, but yet he has to do it anyway. But then he doesn't like being in the wet diaper, so it's a real challenge for him and for me sometimes. But I just wanted to let you know what the abrupt ending to my video was and explain. So again, thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.